Hello, one and all, and welcome to another episode of MMA Vision Analysis. This one, I'm here to talk about UFC 298's co-main event, Robert Whittaker versus Paulo Costa. But before getting started, make sure to like, comment, subscribe, and click that notification to get all of this that is new from this channel, your channel, the one and only MMA Vision Analysis. I'm glad to see Paulo Costa back in the octagon. So many canceled fights. Last night, he came back against a Robert Whittaker. In all honesty, prior to the fight, I thought that Paulo Costa was kind of overlooking Robert Whittaker, a top contender in that middleweight division. Obviously, Robert Whittaker needs no introduction. Last night, captured a important decision win against a Paulo Costa. What does this mean? What does this mean for Robert Whittaker going forward? What does this mean for Paulo Costa going forward? Paulo Costa is in an interesting predicament at this point. Loses to Robert Whittaker. Before that, the fights with Adesanya. What does this mean for Paulo Costa going forward? I still think Paulo is a relatively young age. Paulo has a lot left to give the UFC combat sports. I believe going forward, if he is to focus a little more on fighting and not so much on drama, I believe that Paulo Costa could be champion of that middleweight division. A lot of the times when these fighters focus on other things other than fighting, that's when you see results like in the case of Paulo Costa, when you get too tangled up with things outside of fighting. I believe some of the comments that Paulo made before the Whittaker fight, kind of overlooking Robert Whittaker, I believe that's a foolish idea. Robert Whittaker, obviously top of the world. When it comes down to that weight class, middleweight division, obviously UFC has some of the best fighters on the planet, and Robert Whittaker, it does not need me to say he's one of the best fighters of the middleweight, regardless of the losses. He's still top contender in that division. What does this mean for Whittaker? I would love to see Whittaker against other top contenders climbing back up the ranks. Perhaps Whittaker versus Strickland sometime in the summertime. I don't know if that makes any sense because Strickland might have a direct rematch with Dricus. But I would love to see Robert Whittaker back in action sometime this summer. And perhaps we'll see Robert Whittaker once again competing for the title either end of the year 2024 or beginning of the year 2025. I mean, 2 more wins will definitely put Robert Whittaker in a great position for a title shot. It's a very interesting division, the middleweight division. I've said that so many times. I believe many people did not predict that Robert Whittaker is going to beat Paulo Costa. But obviously Robert Whittaker is a top fighter. And both of these guys lost to Israel Adesanya. Israel Adesanya is he's just on a different level. I don't know how to explain it. When Israel Adesanya is in his day, he's very difficult to beat. Only 3 losses in the UFC came to either former champions or current champions. Likes of Alex Pereira, who he came back and revenged the loss to. Obviously, Strickland and Guahovic. And none of those fighters really beat Adesanya in, excluding the Alex Pereira fight where, it was finished. But none of these fighters really had a dramatic win over Adesanya if you exclude the Alex Pereira fight. And I know some people say that Strickland kind of outclassed Israel Adesanya. But these are champions or former champions at this point of their divisions that have beat Israel Adesanya. So therefore, Whittaker and Costa losing to Adesanya, I don't think takes anything away from both fighters. especially Whitaker. I believe a lot of people overlooked Whitaker. And like I said, 2 or 3 more wins, perhaps Whitaker is champion of the middleweight division. If you made it this far, I appreciate you for sticking around. Please let me know what you think in the comments and like, subscribe for more.